Hello friends, welcome to Igra Technology. Let's learn about functions and methods today. So what is function? Function is basically block of task that can be once created, used anywhere in the program any number of times. So this makes the code reusable and your code overall systematic. So let's see how to create a function. The syntax of function somewhat looks like this. Here we use def means we are defining function, so we use def keyword, then function name, whatever function name you like, and then open and close circular braces. Here you can give either parameters or not. We will learn about parameters also. Then after you are done defining function, you write your code inside this function, then you can call it anywhere in the code. So let's understand this with an example. So suppose you want to create a function which checks the maximum values between two numbers. So I will create a function called maximum, and first we use def keyword, second I gave it name maximum, and then let's not complicate it that much. Let's create a basic function called as greet. Okay, greet functions have zero parameters. Here, see, here we have not given any parameter, as this is not inside any class, so there is no compulsion of giving self parameter and things like that. So let's just print hello world. Okay, we have created a function which prints hello world. Okay, now let's call this function. Suppose I want to print hello world 5 times. What I will do is I will write greet and this control C control V. I will print it 5. I want to print it 5 times, so I'll call it 5 times, and let's run it. See, here the hello world is printed 5 times. When we have multiple line of codes, suppose I want to print hello earth 2, hello earth. Okay, I want to print this both 5 times. So what normally we do is, if like let me print it and show you. If I want to achieve this output in normal situation, what we do is we have to write these two lines of code 10 times, right? Let's suppose there is one more line here, so that much a number of line, that much time you have to write. But once you wrap it inside a function, then you do not have to write it so many times, you just have to call the function. Here you define it only once, then you call it any number of time you want. So this makes this block of code reusable. That's what function does. So here we have learned about function. Let's see different types of functions. So here we have a maximum function. Here we have defined 2 marks. This checks for the maximum marks of English. If this is ternary operator, we have learned it, right? So this is marks of if marks of English is greater than marks of science, then it will print marks of English, else it will print marks of science. So if marks of English is greater, it will print marks of English, else it will print marks of science. So here we have called the function and we have got the output. Okay, let's see. Here we have one more function. Here we have used before moving to methods, let's see one more functions with parameters. Okay, so as I said before, maximum, let's create a function called as maximum and pass two parameters to it, a, b, and what we will do is we will return the maximum values from both of them. So how I will simply use ternary operator. Okay, return a if a is greater than b, else b. Okay, now let me remove this, and here we have created our function. I will use print statement to print the maximum between two. Let's call maximum function, and here I will provide it with two values, 2 comma 3, 2 comma 4. Control C, uh, Control V. Let's go with 5 comma 4. Then let's go with 10 comma 2. And so let's see here. I'm not writing this line of code again and again. Instead, I'm just calling the maximum function to check the maximum value. Let's see. See here we have got 4 as 4 is bigger than 2. Here we have got 5 as 5 is bigger than 4, and here we have got 10 as 10 is bigger than 2. So here we have created a function with parameters. Okay, now let's see what is a method. Okay, method, I have explained you bit about method in classes and object also. Now let's learn about method in detail. Okay, here we have a method. Okay, so this is how a method works. Method, you can call method as a function defined inside a class. Any function you define inside a class is called as method. Every normal method of a class will have a parameter self compulsorily. It will be the first parameter. What self parameter does is it points to the object of that particular class which is currently in use. So suppose we have two objects, obj1 and obj2. It will give the value of obj1 if obj1 is in use, and value of obj2 if obj2 in use. We will understand the self parameter in detail in init method or constructor. For now you just have to remember that function, any function defined inside a class is called as a method. A normal method of a class will always have a first parameter as self. You can provide a number of more parameters, but the first parameter will always be self. So let's here we have a function called as add. So let's create a method of add numbers. Okay, so first we have to define class. Let's give it as math class. Okay, I have created a class called as math class. Here we will create a method def. As I said, we are going to perform addition, so I'll name it as addition, and first parameter will always be self. Then I want to do addition of two numbers, so I'll write a b. Okay, I will take two more parameters as a b. Then what I want to do is I want to return a plus b. Okay, now suppose I want to call this method I have created. First I have to create the object of the math class, so I will write obj is equals to math class. Okay, and obj dot addition, I want to do addition of two numbers, 5 comma 10. Okay, now let's print whatever it returns, whatever value it returns, and let's check. See, here we are getting 15 as output. So this is how method works. Method is nothing but a function created inside a class. It will always has self as first parameter. See, now let's see difference between function and method quickly. A standalone block of code that perform tasks. It does not, it's a standalone block. It does not comes under some class or anything like that. And method is a function definition inside a class. Okay, Then it is defined outside of a class and it is defined inside of a class. As I said, it is called by its name directly. It is called by object dot method name. It does not require self parameters. Method compulsorily requires self parameters. It is independent of any class. There is no class involved in function, and method is always associated with a class. So let's quickly revise what we learned today. So functions are the block of codes that that makes your program reusable or clean. You can say you can create. You just have to define the function once, and you can call it n number of times. This is how we create a function. Function can either be non-parameteric and parameteric. You can either provide parameters or you cannot or if you do not wish to provide any parameter, you do not have to. Then we have method. Method is basically a function created inside a class. Method will always have one parameter fixed as self parameter. Okay, then you can define other parameters too, but one parameter self will always be there in method. Then you cannot call method directly, you have to create the object of the class method present in. Then you have to call it like object dot method name. So this is all about today's video. Thank you.